Don't F with an Englishman's T. No, on the surface, Steve comes across as bright and practical and organized. And you might think that he might impart some of these virtues on, his new friend and personal trainer. But he didn't. In fact, Mr. Practical and Organized actually convinced me very, very, very persuasively to take my rent money and go buy a bicycle. I'm actually very serious about this. I had very little money at the time. I could barely pay my rent, and he got me to spend, I'm not kidding, my last $1,400 on a bicycle. A specialized Ale Elite road bike made out of aluminum. I told him, I was like, dude, I can't afford this. I will not be able to pay my rent. He was like, oh, you Jews, you worry too much. So as I sank into credit overdraft, Steve and I started biking together, and I actually started liking it. So I guess he was right. And after about 5 weeks, after I made the purchase, Steve drags me on a century ride to Bear Mountain 5 weeks after I got the bike. We actually rode about 118 miles that day. And, usually you're supposed to train for a few months before you do that. And he was like, it's a bunch of bullcocky, whatever. So he drags me out, and he brought me on one of the most miserable days of my life. So I remember on the way back, we stopped off in Nyack, New York, at the coffee shop. It was about 25 miles away from home. And I totally bonked. And if you don't know what bonked means, it means like you've totally been depleted of glycogen and sugar and energy and will to live. So, everything is gone from the system. And I was laying down on the sidewalk like a starfish. And, crying for my mommy. It was pretty that bad. And I was about an armpit hair away from calling a cab to get me out of New York City. And Steve's just looking at me on the street, on the sidewalk, and he's just like, it's experiences like this that make you stronger. Really, Steve? I'm still seeing a shrink over there. And then shortly thereafter, on our bikes again, he led me down a steep hill in New Jersey, where I got smacked off my bike. I actually flew over the car. Oh, no kidding. My hip smashed into the windshield, and I tumbled over, and I actually, by some miracle, landed on my feet. I have no idea how. And Steve goes, wow, that was pretty amazing. I can't believe you're still alive. Aren't you glad you bought that bike? It's just like, it's pain and suffering. And he just thought it was all wonderful. British people. And then he convinced me to do the New York City Triathlon, where I crashed again and I finished the race covered in blood. He said, great job, that's the way to do it, man. Andrea, you're a doctor. Me? Who's got the problem here? Because, makes me hang out with this schmuck. I mean, really, I don't know why, but I actually do indeed like hanging out with Steve. In fact, we have a very interestingly intimate relationship. But before I get into that, I have to explain something about myself. This is actually a very big part of myself. Everyone knows I talk to people. I like people. However, there's one thing that I absolutely hate more than anything in the world, and that is talking on the telephone for more than 60 seconds. It makes me miserable, it makes me irritable. It's like sitting in traffic in Los Angeles. It's like, I can't do it. I pretty much want to kill somebody if I'm talking on the phone for more than 60 seconds. I mean, basically, my wife, she will attest to this. She knows I'm like that, and I don't know how you guys are with your phone habits, but I'm like, oh, we're gonna meet on 59th Street? All right, are you gonna be 5 minutes late? That's cool, perfect, do it. That's a phone conversation to me, okay? I get some people, they're just like, hi Mike, how you doing? Yeah, I was at the grocery store today, and I don't know, I was thinking I'd get apples or pears. I didn't know if I should get, I don't know. But, so I got both, you know, so these go on. I literally have like, you know, taking the noose and throwing it around my neck and about to kill myself. But basically, back to Steve, what makes my relationship so interesting is actually, and this mystifies me, is that I could actually talk on the phone with Steve for hours. I'm not kidding. I can't do this with anybody. It's we literally could talk like little schoolgirls about nothing. It's freakish. In fact, it's probably the thing that pisses my wife off. And there are times where we ride for 4 hours, you know, and we talk the whole time. We work and we talk, and I'd go home, I'd shower, and I'd call him, we'd talk for another hour. I don't know how or why. And I've done some soul searching and some self-evaluation over this whole behavior. And I even once thought, am I gay? Am I in love with Steve? I mean, after all, and we all know, he does look great in bike shorts. He's got a great ass. I can listen to his accent all day long. After extensive thought and realization, I did eventually come to the conclusion that my love for Steve wasn't sexual. I just love him for who he is. I love bike riding with him. I love telling him my thoughts. I love hearing him tell me his thoughts. He's my go-to guy when I need to vent about life. I love how he pushes me on our bike rides. He's an exceptional rider. I love having coffee and cinnamon buns with him and talking about politics or art or blood doping.
That sounds a little bit gay.
Seeing him totally knackered after a ride because it reminds me that he's still mortal like the rest of us. But I gotta tell you, the most beautiful thing in our relationship actually happened this past summer, Steve. And I have to say, only the love between you two is more beautiful than this one moment that Steve and I shared. And I sincerely wish you were all there to see this, because it was the simple expression on his face. And I'm serious. It was when Robert Green, the British goalkeeper, let the ball slip through his fingers in the World Cup versus the USA. It was just priceless. It was beautiful to see such England just be so embarrassed. You had to be there to just see him just melt into the couch. You're a special friend to me. You were one of the most special friends to me. And I'm so honored that you asked me to do the ceremony and to be your best man on this very special day. I love you. You have the most beautiful and most outstanding bride, and I just wish you a lifetime filled with love and happiness in New York, in Colorado, in England, wherever. Cheers, mate!